Hello everyone, this is Norio Hayakawa in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm just outside of the Nuclear Museum of Albuquerque, which is located right next to the Kirtland Air Force Base. And this afternoon I would like to talk about a strange subject matter, which is the matter of UFOs. And recently, there was this congressional UFO hearing just about a couple of weeks ago, in which several former government employees testified that in recent times there have been many incursions of strange objects, or what's known as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena or anomalous phenomena. UAPs being sighted over some military bases in America, and that was the topic of the recent congressional UFO hearing that was held in Washington, D.C. just about 2 weeks ago. Here I have a friend of mine, Jim Brockway, who used to work for NASA, and he has been investigating UFOs for many, many years, just like I have. But I'm going to ask him a question about this subject matter. In fact, back in 2013, I interviewed Anthony Bourdain, the late Anthony Bourdain, right here in front of the Nuclear Museum. But this afternoon I have this Jim Brockway, who also appeared with Anthony Bourdain in this that program. But anyway, Jim, I understand you were formerly of NASA, and what did you do at NASA?
Well, I worked around the B-52. I was with Bomber Cargo at the time over at Edwards Air Force Base. And before I left Edwards, we gave the B-52 over to NASA. So I had to go back to NASA to ask them if I can go aboard my airplane. But they took it over and did more testing with other aircraft and so on that they were dropping off of, like the X-20 or the X-15, the X-24B, and all those lifting bodies. All that was done off of the B-52 there. Now, at the museum here behind us, you'll see a B-52 that actually dropped the bomb over in the Pacific. Ours didn't do any bomb dropping, but we did the X-15 and the lifting bodies over there at Edwards. And so, like I say, we give that to NASA, so that's how I had my association with NASA there. And now it's sitting in Pogos at the north end of Edwards Air Force Base, so you can go there and see it. The sister B-52 that worked with us is now down at the Pima Air Museum in Tucson, Arizona. That also launched the X-15 out there. And so those are the two museums that you can visit that have the B-52s and the aircraft that they tested or flew out there.
I see. That's very interesting. And what do you think of the recent congressional UFO hearing that took place only about 2 weeks ago in Washington, D.C.? Tell us what you think of these congressional UFO hearings. Are they significant?
I think they're fantastic. The word's finally getting out that this stuff exists. I know of people who've had close encounters with the fifth kind who have actually communicated and worked with them. So they're here, and they're here very close because the hills behind us here on the east side of Albuquerque actually house the Zeta Reticuli, who've been wanting to communicate more with us here on Earth and to build a relationship there. They're still a little standoffish, but I think it's going to work out. More of the mental telepathy type thing. But they're here, and apparently there's a UFO supply depot over by Starfire Optical in the canyon up in there. And so there's some interesting stuff that's going on that not a whole lot of people have talked about, but it's there.
That's amazing, and I understand that even in Kirtland Air Force Base, there are quite a number of top military officials that also believe that we are being possibly visited by unknown entities from somewhere, you know, and some people believe that the U.S. government is hiding things, but the mystery is that we haven't even have found any artifacts or physical evidence of crashed UFOs and so on, but the congressional UFO hearings, which is being held almost every year now, seems to be pointing that something is there. Something is there, and we don't know what this is. And you know, I understand that some of these objects just have the capacity to just suddenly materialize and then just as suddenly disappear without any trace. And so this is the biggest mystery about this whole UFO phenomenon. And so Jim was also part of the civic air patrol group inside Kirtland Air Force Base, which is right towards there. But in your years of work with the civic air patrol, you have definitely heard sighting reports in Kirtland Air Force Base.
Well, I don't know about sighting reports. I know I've worked with the wing commander currently, and with Squadron 2 here at for the Civil Air Patrol on base here. But and another gentleman that used to work with us, Ken Johnson, who did work with NASA. He was the one that had a lot of the photographs they took on the moon. So he's got some of those archived away someplace. But he's worked with us with the Civil Air Patrol. But another interesting thing is that you have both Space Command as well as the Space Force. So the Guardians are here, and so they're working on base. They have with the Starfire Optical Observatory, and then you have actually a mission control here in Albuquerque, so they could run the space shuttles or space station from this location here if Houston got wiped out or whatever. So it could happen right here. They could control all of that. A lot of the missile launches out of Vandenberg Space Force Base, I guess you could call it now. It sounds strange for me because it was always Air Force Base, but the Guardians have got that now, and they launched the SpaceX rockets from there. But yeah, they're here, Space Force, the Guardians, so and Space Command. So it's kind of a unique, conglomeration of the space people here, not only doing the observatory work or whatever, but also any of the other stuff that's actually up in orbit.
That is just amazing. And this is right now, we're in November in 2024, but some people say that next year in 2025 something could be announced. I don't know. People have said this for many years, but there's some indication that the year 2025 could be a very significant year as far as the possible revelation of the existence of UFOs are concerned. I don't know if it's going to happen next year or not, but in your opinion, Jim, do you think that some kind of disclosure is forthcoming in the very near future?
I believe so, yes. I think whoever is going into office this time will make sure that at least get the word out. And I think we're going to see a lot happen here in the next 4 years, and I believe that you know, the actual existence of or acknowledgement of alien forces are out there.
Very interesting, very fascinating, and you know, we're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, home of Kirtland Air Force Base, which is one of the most important Air Force bases in America, just as important as Edwards Air Force Base, and also places like Area 51 in Nevada, and Dugway, you know, proving grounds in Utah, and so on. And so there are several very important Air Force bases in America, and Albuquerque's Kirtland Air Force Base is one of those important Air Force bases in America. And but anyway, I urge you, some of you, if you can come visit this nuclear museum right here, right next to Kirtland Air Force Base. You'll find a great history of the history behind the development of rocketry and everything like that. That seemed to have started around right after 1945, and in fact 1947 they say is the start of the Department of the Air Force and also the CIA, and 1947 was the establishment of the National Security Act. So these are all connected, do you think?
Yes, obviously, yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
And so you recommend folks to keep an eye on the sky as well.
Well, there was an old saying, keep your feet on the ground, keep looking at the stars. So, yeah, it's there.
Thank you so much, Jim, for this interview. Thank you so much.
Okay.